Hey, what's up everybody? This is Osterbrick501 and today I want to show you guys another Moze build for Mayhem 10 and the new Guardian Takedown raid. Now this build is incredibly strong for anything you want to do in Mayhem 10, including both the takedowns, but it is a bit more themed around radiation damage. Now the talents and the setup are quite similar to my most recent Moze builds, but again, it has that theme around radiation damage without losing much, if any, of the power. So with all that being said, we can go into the talents. Now the talent setup is very similar to my most recent Moze build, with a few changes that I think make pretty big difference in just general play. So first, Fire in the Skag Den, which whenever you do splash damage, you deal extra incendiary damage, which is a massive damage increase. We're doing 3 in a Grizzled kill skill. Killing an enemy reduces your remaining action skill cooldown time, which does help a little bit because we do want to go into our Iron Bear every 10 seconds around there. So you want that cooldown to line up with that. And we get around that. Then we have means destruction. Whenever you do splash damage, you have a chance to get ammo back into your magazine and grenades back. One of the main changes with this build from our most recent ones is we don't go into Torrid cross promotion. This does give us splash damage increase 30% at 5 points, but it has a chance to double the size of our splash damage with the back burner. When this procs, which it procs a lot because the back burner hits so many times, it does the most massive explosive radius that is good for hitting enemies, but you hit yourself a lot, and when you're hitting this hard, it can just one-shot you a ton, as shown in my most recent videos. With how much damage you can put out, you usually can get yourself back up pretty easily, especially with some of the Guardian rank talents that makes your last stand, your fight for your life, last longer. But I think it's a more pleasant experience playing without Torrid cross promotion because you don't kill yourself every, 3 shots or something like that. So then pull the Holy Pin. All your grenades have a chance to crit for a pretty big damage increase. We're using Auto Bear because it just gives extra damage, and your Iron Bear can proc means of destruction, which helps you with your ammo regeneration. Vampire, our main survivability. When your grenades hit stuff, pretty much they restore percentages of your health, which with this build, it restores your shields. Then we have explosive punctuation. When you do splash damage, which is all of our damage, our action skill cooldown rate is briefly increased by 40%. So this helps us with constantly having our Iron Bear up to use so we can get some of our anointed effects procced. Short fuse, your gun damage is a chance to create a secondary explosion at the center of that target. This is one of the main reasons we go low into this tree, pretty much a main reason that we do go low into this tree, because if you're hitting say 3 million on a backburner shot on one of the explosions, that proccing a second explosion for 75% of the damage is going to hit multiple millions of damage as well. So this is just incredibly strong with high damage explosives. Then bottomless mags, there's a few changes in this one as well. 5 in a cloud of lead, every 4 shot, doesn't consume ammo and deals bonus incendiary damage. Stoke the embers, increase your incendiary damage by 30%, which all of our damage now deals bonus incendiary damage. Redistribution, when you crit, you regen a percentage of your magazine and up to 2.5% of your missing health per second, which with this build that restores our shields. And with having 80,000 shields or more, 2.5% of that regenning per second is a lot of shields. Then we're doing 2 into Scrappy with this build, which is mainly just used for 12% weapon damage. With how high we're hitting, 12% weapon damage is actually still a pretty decent increase. Then we're going with Shield of Retribution, which is our main survivability talent. Gun damage and damage reduction when your shields are active. Again, if your shields are active with this build, or if they're not active with this build, you're dead or downed. Then we have shield recharge rate, max shield, and shock damage resistance, just a massive tankiness increase. Thin Red Line reserves 60% of your health and reserves it as max shields. With this build, we're using the Deathless artifact, which reserves our health to 1, but with Thin Red Line, even if you're already reserved to 1 health, this still takes it as you have your maximum health. So this will still give you a good amount of shield increase. Drowning in Brass, it's a stacking damage increase or a stacking gun damage increase. For killing things, it does reduce our fire rate slightly, but that's not a big issue with a rocket launcher. Experimental munitions, when you crit, you do a bonus incendiary damage, which is good because this procs on our grenades and our rocket launcher. Then we have Desperate Measures, which the lower our health, the more gun damage we get, which also helps our Iron Bear's damage, so mainly our Auto Bear's damage. The lower our health, the higher our gun damage, and that's up to 100%. Since we're at 1 HP all the time, it's just 100% damage increase or gun damage increase, which is incredibly massive. One of the biggest gun damage increases in any talent in the game. Now for our Iron Bear damage or our Iron Bear weapons, we're using the V35 grenade launcher and the lock and speed load. This is mainly, we just want as many quick explosions from our Iron Bear as we can possibly get for more chances of proccing means of destruction. So that is all of our talents, and with that we can go into our items. Now, the theming of this build mainly comes from our items. So the main change for this is the anointed on our weapon, which is while under 50% health, you deal 150% bonus radiation damage. So that's massive. This is always proc for this build because we're reserved at 1 health. You can use this on other elements of your rocket launcher. Now, I don't have this anointed on any other element. It's kind of cool that I do have it on a radiation one so I can make a themed build, but if you don't really care about the theming of the build as much, you can just use this anointed on any elemental variant of the build, and it's still going to do this radiation damage because it's bonus damage, and it's a really big amount of bonus damage. For our shield, we are using the enhanced old god with the bonus radiation damage on it. This is just one of the best shields in the game again. On action go end, gain radiation damage for 10 seconds, which is nice that I got this roll on this. And again, with the shield and grenade mod on action go end anointed effects, make sure not to stack them. So I have radiation on this, then shock on the grenade because I don't have a maddening tracker at 57 with a different on action skill and anointed on it right now. You can switch these up. Make sure you're using the cloning maddening tracker. Again, it's the best grenade for these most builds. If you don't have the enhanced old god with these good rolls on it, just try to get any shield that's tanky with an on action skill end elemental anointed effect. Transformers are super good. Rechargers are super good. Anything like that is the super tanky is going to be really good with high capacity shields. Always going to be good. If you can get these good rolls like this, it's going to be just slightly better because of that damage increase. Now for our class mod, again, using the same one as our last build. So the Bloodletter +2 into the talent. Now the +2 into, what is it called? The Phalanx Doctrine right here. I would recommend trying to get at least +1 into this because this is a infinitely stacking talent that gives gun damage and max shield. So it's super strong to at least have 1 on your class mod so you have that talent activated. Now these are probably the best rolls: 2 into Phalanx Doctrine, 3 into Desperate Measures for that really big damage increase. What this class mod does is when we heal or have health regen, it heals our shield instead, which is all of our effective health. And this has splash damage, grenade damage, and weapon magazine size. The weapon magazine size really doesn't mean much for this build. That's the main thing I like to get a better roll on. Grenade damage is good, even though our grenade damage isn't most of our damage, but it still is a pretty big damage increase. Then splash damage, massive, that's all of our damage. For our artifact, we are using an atom bomb, which makes our aura damage off of our radiation damage, our aura damage, our burst damage, and aura burst radius much bigger. Now pretty much what this is when you irradiate something, they have a field around them that makes them deal damage over time to other enemies around them, and then when you kill them, that blows up and deals a lot of damage to enemies around them. This just buffs all of that. Super strong. We're using Deathless to reserve to 1 health but gain increased shield capacity, recharge rate, delay. For our rolls on this, we have action skill cooldown rate. We really don't need that, to be honest, with our talents and how fast we get our Iron Bear. We really don't need another 25%. It can help sometimes, but not really. Regen's health per second is actually pretty good. 272 health per second, which is 272 shield per second, is actually a decent amount of regen overall, especially when it's all just put into that shielding instead of, you know, a normal build that would have half shielding, half health. This is able to heal our entire effective health. Then area of effect damage, the best roll you can get on these artifacts, because that's just pretty much a 40% increased damage. Very, very strong with that. And that is all of the items you are using for this build. It's still incredibly strong. Not sure how strong compared to our most recent Moze builds. It's still similar in strength, and tankiness is pretty much the same. In overall damage, it's right up there as well. And it is pretty cool to have a themed radiation build. It's really cool to be facing a ton of enemies, have them all irradiated, you kill one, then they all just blow up and kill each other. It is incredibly satisfying, especially with having that increase from atom bomb. So just having those massive explosions everywhere is just very satisfying. So that is everything I wanted to go over with this build. Subscribe if you want to see more Borderlands 3 videos. Leave a like if you liked the video. Leave a comment down below what you guys think about this build, and thanks for watching.
Peekaboo, Vault Thief! Viewers, comment in the stream and tell us how you want the Vault Thief to die!
does not appear to have been ripped apart so much as burst open from within.
Stay down, scrub.
counting on you, Vault Hunter.
This place is supposed to be secure! Let's clear out these rats! Vault Hunter spotted! We are compromised!
You do not.
what makes it